Alright guys, so I hope y'all ready because I'm talking about it. We're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. So let me tell you something. It was pretty good. Honestly, I'm excited for where the series might go now. For one, we get a lot of background information. A lot of what I talked about in my previous video, how shouts out to Kenjaki for what he did. I called him ghetto, sorry. But it seems that there is a bigger force out there than just the world of Japan and Jujutsu, and we knew that, and we thought there were small abnormalities outside of Japan, but to know that there's a whole goddamn Jujutsu civilization out there, that was amazing. For one, for me, I'm excited because it can go plenty of different places. It gives room for Gay and sorry, I forgot the other artist's name. Just to expand more on the universe and do whatever the fuck they want to do in a better way. I'm excited for it. So let's go over a few chapters. So we are introduced to Itsurugi and Yura. Of course, Yura is Yuka. Sorry about not Yura. Yuka, kind of basically like Yuta. We do see later in the chapter how the twins differentiate while also kind of remaining the same in a sense. Attitude wise, they're kind of the same. But we see that Yuka spent a lot more time with Yuta and that Itsurugi spent a lot more time with Maki. Now, the Gojo clan, they're in the Gojo clan, of course. They're Kotus, but the Gojo clan and the Kotu clans are pretty close together. They are a clan, they're cousins. But nonetheless, seeing as it's meant for, they're saying the ring that Itsurugi gets is meant for, the stronger, not the stronger, but I guess it's meant for the one who's more worthy of it at the time. That's what they say, but we'll see. There's some more other stuff later down the line. Of course, there has to be. But as we get introduced to them, they're told that they're supposed to be working with one of our other new leads or whatever. They're gonna have to speak to the higher ups, investigate the scene. There are sorcerers being abducted, as I said also in the last video about how important that is and how Kenjaki set up something crazy for us. The recent cases of Japanese citizens being abducted to be used as energy resources is incredibly serious. Now, I spoke to y'all about that in my most previous video, and I said that is what they're doing because of how good the energy from cursed energy is. It can be used as long as it's through a stabilized medium. That's when we're eventually introduced to Inspector Marulo Valvo Yelvari, I think it is. So basically, you have Itsurugi and Yuka explaining to him, basically the ins and outs of how Jujutsu and stuff like that is working on Earth, because this guy is from outer space, but a few other of them. If you saw the opening scenes, he comes from outer space, but somebody else who wasn't introduced. But as you can see, or whatever, he is from the future. Itsurugi really doesn't want to work with the dude because he seems to be a little incompetent to him, I think, and also he's not caught up on the politics and everything going on. And if you don't know, here goes just a view for you so you can see the explanation of what is currently going on and why our story is starting here today. So basically, seeing as this guy is new and he seems like he might actually drag them down, they just dip off and leave that boy. They leave the inspector. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? He's looking both ways like, bro, what the fuck going on? Like, what the hell? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? But as they dip off, he's trying to figure out, he is also there, let me say, to inspect them and see if anything is even worth, if it's even worth dealing with Japan and having them, I guess to say, blend with their society, because clearly they were saying with all these different people, these different people who hold Jujutsu, or the ability to use Jujutsu, it's like a conglomerate of, I guess, of different planets and stuff like that, with people who can use it. But the thing about it is, you got to be able to work with them and blend, and that's what he's there to find out. So while Yuka is trying to talk to the inspector and basically letting him know, like, don't be a baby about us leaving. She kind of gives some background into what's going on with her and her brother and their relationship, as he also explains that him and his brother are, they have a really bumpy relationship and he's never given up. And he also understands her need to show everybody that she's top notch and that's what she wants to do. That is Yuka's goal right now. That's her goal for us in this story. She wants to get the ring back from her brother because she feels like her brother got it without even having a close relationship to her grandfather Yuta that she had. So, just some more background information. So, the Inspector Generals declared this extraterrestrial invasion as a special grade incident on par with the attack by Ryoma Sakuna. And what's happening with that is the guy that they end up running into, who's trapping everybody right now in the beginning of our story, he's explaining to him that they're here to assess us because if we're not that, then they're going to invade us. You know what I'm saying? And he's letting them know, like, hey, Ryoma Sakuna, like, that's from way back when, and that who cares about that? Like, that's history. But he's letting them know that, bro, ever since everything that happened, that anomaly 68 years ago, that was 68 years ago, and this is 80 years in the future, so you gotta pay attention to that. He says he believes the aliens will start war with us, and I'm not gonna lie, to me it seems to be very, very possible. One of the abilities I think that our other main character Maru has, he said something about bringing the world into harmony, and when the way he said it seems very suspicious. Just to kind of shorten this video, let me be a little bit quicker here. So they do talk about the greats, saying since Gojo and Yuji, who do they have around? You do see Megumi, and you also see Yuta in that list. You see Nobara as well. I'm not sure who that might be, but I think that's Maki's head. But there are greats in there. We just don't know exactly where they are. We do know Yuta's dead, Maki's dead, and they seem to have succumbed just to natural causes. UG, we don't know. Everybody is going with the whole cursed spirit thing. He's not part cursed spirit. He was made like a regular person. He shot up that club and Kenjaku pushed that thing out. That's what that was. So we really don't know. Now he does definitely have properties that's going to make him live longer than others, make him more durable. We know the basics with Yuji, but we're not sure what that does for his life expectancy yet. So we kind of got to see if he appears in the story, but I'm almost betting Yuji is still alive in some part. You know what I'm saying? Especially with him having blood manipulation. Who knows? He could have learned something to keep himself living, prolonging, him being able to help people. So before we also leave, I just want to give a quick view of the techniques. So Itsurugi, he can use, he doesn't actually have a curse technique. I'm guessing he's heavily restricted. Now, they do show you that he worked out a lot, and Maki also said, hey, you're more like me, you're strong, so you're going to be good. But he uses a cursed tool, katana. I feel like it's Yuta's katana. But no, I think he's using the katana from our boy, god damn, oh gosh, how am I forgetting his name? Our boy, who uses the katana. We all love him. Our guy, our historian, but he can use the Bato sword drawing technique. And as you can see, the katana's on fire is burning the talismans for that dude's technique. He's like that with the sword drawing, as his grandfather was. But then we get to see Yuka's, I'm assuming either her curse technique or part of her curse technique, biting twist. But I do want to say just the last part for this video, we have to keep in mind they're twins. So we got to see how their levels working out, because I think that's the reason why Itsurugi gets the ring, because they're twins and everybody knows how that works out, and Maki knows better than anyone. And I think she wanted to protect him because he might be strong physically, but he might not be able to push the curve later. But they are twins, so we don't know exactly if her power is at half, how half-assed his power is. We gotta see. There has to be some things to be made clear to us, but I'm not in a rush. I want to see what type of time that takes, because I actually like what they're doing. I like this so far. So let's see. Check out Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, and leave a comment.